aka Padders, here it is. I have a table full of comic books. All of these books are stemming from Stormwatch issue 8. Now, a lot of you guys may not even know what's inside Stormwatch issue 8. We're going to get into every single character, the storylines, and the surrounding history of what I consider to be the most impactful issues of early Wildstorm Productions. Let's go. Yeah, no intro, aka Padders. Cheers. I got a green matcha. I've been making my own matcha drinks. What do you guys think, right? I got the color. The color is pretty good. Matcha latte. What do we have here? As I said, we don't have much of an intro. We're jumping right into this. The reason why we're jumping right into this is because yesterday for Top Cow Tuesday, and this has just disrupted all of my videos for this week, by the way. This issue of Stormwatch issue 8, Ripclaw on the prowl. Right here, guys. Ripclaw is on the prowl. All of this stems from this single issue. Who is Ripclaw? Well, Ripclaw is our front and center piece of Cyberforce. He's our guy. Perfectly designed. Guys, I cannot stress how perfectly designed Ripclaw is. The white, the red. I know some of you don't like the ponytail. I always liked his hair. Like, you know, when it comes out the sides, like his sideburns are super. Oh, it's too cool. And they never quite return to this. They do other versions of Cyberforce, right? They do at least 3 other iterations of Cyberforce. They never quite get it right. But the gold, the red, the white, the long hair, and the makeup. We all know is this a part of the costume? Like these red stripes, like here, like the red stripes. We don't know. Is he shirtless? Because they draw him with hair. He's got hair texture throughout his upper body. It's insane. So we have Ripclaw from Cyberforce guest starring in Stormwatch. Now, where have we seen Ripclaw before? Previously on this channel, we got into Ripclaw on the Killer Instinct tour. It's a comic book crossover, but it's a tour. They went on tour. They hit a ton of comic shops. And they promoted these 2 companies crossing over, right? Really cool stuff. Stuff that they really don't do anymore. So we have Cyberforce Part 2, Cyberforce 2, Part 2, Cyberforce 3, Part 4. We have gold incentive covers. Wildcats get in on it. Wildcats Chapter 1. The whole thing. It's Ripclaw versus Warblade. The Wolverine analogs with Misery caught up in the mix. And Misery's kind of controlling both of them. Making the boys fight for her. Why is that significant? At one time, Top Cow Productions and Wildstorm Productions were homage studios. This book's great, by the way, guys. But look, this is their office floor. It just screams productivity, doesn't it? And they break up. And we really don't quite know exactly why they break up. But while they're still collaborating, we get books like Homage Studios Swimsuit Special, where they just, you know, sexualize every single possible character that they can, or they sexualize every character that their artistic talents allow them to. This is Fahrenheit from Stormwatch. While they're still best buds, we get Deathmate. Deathmate also goes on tour. So we get more promo, right? And then we get this. Again, of the 2 companies, Wildstorm Productions, Top Cow Productions. Look who's front and center. And he's front and center for a reason. Because we can kind of make an argument that of the Wildcats team and of the Cyberforce team, Ripclaw is the standout. But we get the first appearance of Gen 13 in these pages. Deathmate Black basically ends with Fairchild inheriting the world, essentially. So this is important. It's going to become more important very soon. In this issue, if we're following all the storylines, Backlash. He leaves. He leaves. But what does he do? Well, we have that right here. He collaborates and teams up with Grifter, but they're not really collaborating. They're kind of friends, or not really. The cover for issue 2 is very clear on their relationship, and this is not just for the bang. This is a story element. But he's looking for a Demonite, because the Demonite has the soul, and Demonites are these guys right here. Demonites, they possess your body, but they can get out. And when this one got out of his babe's mind, he took her mind, he took her soul, and now she's in a coma. He's leaving the team to hunt down that Demonite. He needs one specific Demonite. He doesn't get very far in his quest with Kindred, but he gets a lead at the end. Backlash gets a lead. They're like, hey, thanks for the help. We're going to tell you a few things. And then that jumps right into Backlash monthly issue 1. Solid 3 years on that. And by solid, I mean it's regular. And then what are we doing with Stormwatch? Right here. Wildstorm Productions, Wildcats, Stormwatch. Wildstormwatch, or Wild. How come it's not Cats Watch? Cats Watch Productions, or Watch Cats Productions. But no, it's Wildstorm right here. That's the namesake of the company. So this is essentially Team 2, but Stormwatch expands into more of its own thing. In my view, way more satisfying than Wildcats. Wildcats, in its later issues, gets it doesn't stay on target, but it's an entertaining read. Stormwatch, month after month after month, builds on top of itself, and we really get that with issue 8, because issue 8 references issue 6, issue 7, and issue 4. And technically, like issue 1 and technically issue 0, which is really the prime time appearance of Backlash. It's kind of like one of the first times we got like a decent look at the character, got an idea of the world at Backlash. But this, I remember this cover, and people were like talking about him just from the cover. The reason why we present everything this way is we put our minds in the comic book reader that may not be totally familiar with everything. And this is of the day, of the time. Meaning, you're a little kid and you go to your comic shop on a Saturday night, or on a Friday night, or maybe Wednesday, because when I was growing up, it was Wednesdays. Or it was Friday. I'm sorry, it was Friday became a Wednesday. Comics used to drop on Fridays, but you used to go there on Friday, and like, let's say you bought this and you take it home and you read it. If you weren't regularly reading Stormwatch, you could be prompted to purchase everything I just showed you, including the soon-to-be revealed Gen 13, issue 1. I want to highlight what happens after. We have to just leapfrog real quick. Stormwatch issue 9 builds into, I believe this is time lapse, right? Time lapse gets involved. Let me do Stormwatch issue 25. So we jump ahead, and this is Images of Tomorrow. Jim Lee does this with Rob Liefeld. The wild thing is that Jim Lee does a lot of projects with Rob Liefeld, and then later decimates him, and is really the guy that gets him out of Image Comics. It's really weird to me. We don't have enough info on that. The file comes, that's what she said, next issue, and the file really becomes their Apocalypse. He's their overarching villain from issue 9 all the way into 25. We really want to say post 25, a lot of the traction of Stormwatch dissipates. And later it becomes the Authority. And the real Stormwatch never really comes back. So what's in here? Well, let's just get right into it. First appearance of our babe here. Who's what babe? Well, Rainmaker. Rainmaker first appears here. She escapes Ripclaw and the wonderful boys of Top Cow Coloring. They're here to hunt her down. Well, he's here. He hunts them down, and then the Keepers catch up to him. And we can kind of look, fast forward a little bit. But they're going to fight the Keepers, clearly. As they're fighting the Keepers, we're going to get a team building. I mean, look at that. Backlash. But no, we're going to get some character build moment, a battalion, and Backlash training. To have a little game. You gotta reach the finish line, but you gotta destroy drones and droids and robots. It's a danger room sequence. But they're going to bond. They bond. Then we talk about Hellstrike. Hellstrike is in dire. Now he breaks his form. He's almost like another Deadpool looking guy, but it wasn't Deadpool. Deadpool wasn't popular enough to get people copying him. This here, the mask for Backlash, this is all Snake Eyes, guys. Snake Eyes, Deadpool, Pike, Backlash. Here's Hellstrike here. That's Hellstrike. That's the guy that's in the coma, okay? Right, it's Snake Eyes. People will say it's Deadpool. No, Deadpool was not popular enough at this time. Sorry, guys. Let me get a little bit of this matcha latte. We referenced Stormwatch issue 6. So right here, Stormwatch issue 6. I mean, look at Scott Clark. And guys, I love, see how these credit pages work? Now, I view a lot of the inside cover as wasted real estate. This should be advertising. Everyone made this mistake back in the day. They kind of still make the mistake. You should sell this. If you're making comics, this is advertising. I mean, look at that team shot. But they, basically go on a mission, and it goes haywire for Hellstrike, and we have our another Snake Eyes character. So that's 6. Issue 4 is important because issue 4 is where the Babe. Backlash's honey, right? See? Boom. She gets possessed by the Demonites. So she's possessed, and he's got to leave. Okay? That's it. It's that simple. This Snake Eyes is got to go. Look at the shadows. Look, Scott Clark is beyond good. So he's outsy. And then we're back at the reservation, and we're really expanding on everything Native American. We're learning about Native American culture, the way that the reservations work, their sovereign nations. It's tricky. The reason why we have the council meeting here is because you're dealing with Stormwatch, the United Nations, the U.S., rogue agents, an IO. There's a lot of these elements that are coming together in kind of what we take for granted here. We're taking this action for granted, but in Stormwatch world, there's a lot at stake here. Yeah, I mean, The action, we mentioned this time and time again with Scott Talk. The action could be better, but we get some, Ripclaw action here. We get some Rainmaker shorting out a guy right there, like bzzz. We get Winter here, freezing a mother effing helmet, exploding the brain inside. Fiji here, look, Winter's like, ugh, but then look, Fiji jumps right in front of him. Sorry, see, Winter, and then Fiji's like, boom, he takes a full hit. And then, here we go, if you guys ever seen Wolverine Origins, he punches the tank, and the tank just explodes. And we don't, guys, make this a good effect. The Keepers, Battalionless, one of the Keepers lives, he takes a shot at him. And then really, we jump forward, Rainmaker finds a home. And we kind of, we go right into Gen 13 issue 2. Let's just see. Look at the young J. Scott here. See? Rainmaker. Kicking butt. So why is like this important? Because 2 times, right? Get this. 2 times. It takes Homage Studios, which is Top Cow Productions and Wildstorm Productions. The entire creation of Wildstorm's biggest property, which is Gen 13, is from Homage Studios. Because in the collaborative effort, we're introduced to Gen 13, and in another collaborative effort, we're introduced to their final member, Rainmaker. But guys, can you imagine? You have to you gotta work with me here. You have to transport yourself and just imagine being a teenager, maybe a teenage boy, right? Maybe. But being a teenager, going to the comic shop on a Friday, and then you go back to next week and you're hunting down these issues. Like maybe you're there to buy Kindred. You want to read what Backlash gets up to, and you read Kindred. And you might be more into Grifter, and you're off on the Wildcat books. And we don't even have those in this pile. Or you see this. And you flip through it, and you're just like, oh man. Like, these are a lot of the characters. Like, you go, like, right here. Like, you go through the characters, and you're like, oh my god, Ripclaw's in here. Oh, I'm going to get this. Or you see Ripclaw on this cover, and you crack it open. In the first couple pages, you realize that Fairchild's in this. Like, what the hell? So you read this. This is what comic book continuity does to the reader. Anyone out there that doesn't agree can talk to Crip. You don't want to talk to Crypt.